Okay, here we go. Streaming. Live on Kick. Yep, live on Kick. Live on YouTube live. Kick live. Twitch. Let's see if Twitch comes up. And Twitch. We are live. Okay, yep, live. Okay. Camera. Woohoo! There we are. Alright. Happy Saturday. All 3 streams are going. Okay. Oh, good afternoon. Gabriel Rathwig here. Writer extraordinaire, and this is my writing stream. I really did not feel like doing this today. That's like a understatement. But whatever, we're here. So let's knock it out. It's crazy. The longer you wait to do something in the day, I get up at 4 a.m. So the longer I wait throughout the day to do something, it's like the harder it is to get it done. Like the earlier I do something, the easier it is to get done. Anyway, through a series of unfortunate events, I was unable to complete a lot of stuff this morning. So now it's 1 o'clock and we're gonna get this writing stream done, because I have to write every day to hit my goal of putting a book out every 2 months for the next year. Yeah. What else? Let's see. We got viewers on Twitch. Thank you for watching. We got nobody anywhere else. Okay, cool. Then it is time to get started. Oh wait, we got 2 viewers on Kick. What's up, y'all? And nobody on YouTube. So, as usual, we're gonna close the window so it eats up less bandwidth, and I will answer any questions and say hello or whatever during breaks and at the end. And for today, I'm so trying to motivate myself. We're going to write 2,500 words. We're going to finish this book. Mercenary, Reincarnated as a Chef, Book 3. Fuck me. Turning that music down a little bit on the stream, and there we go. Okay. Fuck. I'm really trying to motivate myself, but it is So anyway, Saturday, 1 o'clock. Goal is 2,500 words in 2.5 hours. 500 words a half hour, 1,000 words an hour. We should be done by 3:30 or less. Lately, the last few days, I've been doing about 1,200, 1,300 words in 45 minutes, which is it's pretty fucking fast, you know? But I am not on my game today. All discombobulated. Even now, I'm like trying to focus. It's like, fuck. Anyway. Every Friday, I do a recap. And so yesterday, if you want to look at yesterday's stream, you can watch the first like 5 minutes and the recap of Mercenary, Reincarnated as a Chef, Book 1 and 2 and 3 up until what we've written so far. And I'll do that every Friday, so you don't have to keep on looking back. But, yeah. We're going to finish this 100,000 word book. That is the size of my books, 100,000 words, because I break it down by percentages, and 1,000 words is 1% of a book. Now, we are as you can see, we are at 98,298 words. So, 1,702 words will hit my 100,000 word goal, which is what I'm going to do today. But judging if you were watching so far, yesterday, I don't think we'll be able to finish the story in 1,700 words. I might need a couple thousand more, because if I make the ending too short and sucky, people will be pissed. It'll ruin the whole book, you know? Well, let's knock these out. The thing is, when I go back and edit this and rewrite it, half of these exceptions are going to be stupid, and they're not going to make any sense, because Grammarly doesn't write for readers, it writes for grammar, and then it only looks at it as a grammar thing, so it's not really that smart. So, like, people who think that AI is, like, the answer is not there yet. And it's a great tool, but you can just see people who write, like, AI because their sentences are garbage. And they don't have any, like, personality. Not yet, in a couple years, or a year or less, I don't know. But not yet, not yet. You can just... fucking rambling. So... every day I give a writing tip, and here's one. There's no excuses not to do the work. If you want to be a writer, if you want to write a book, then you have to fucking write. No matter what happens during your day, you just do it. So, let's do it. So last time, I'm pretty sure what happened last time on the story. Mercenary Reincarnated as a Chef, Part 3. Lou, the main character, set off a nuclear bomb, and his consciousness was rocketed into, like, this place he calls the Void, where he meets with the goddess who brought him back to life, and a few more gods, and they are fighting about what has happened. And they're soaring through this void in space, and ends up that they're heading to the home of the gods and goddesses, you know, all the powers that be. While Lou is in this blob body form thing, soulless, bodiless form, the gods and goddesses are fighting, while he's, like, having these internal revelations and figures out some things. And yeah, they are about to arrive at this world of the gods or goddesses. Okay, so 8 minutes in. Why don't I ramble till 10 minutes, and then at 10 minutes I'll get started. So I'm gonna close the kick window. Thank you. I'm gonna close the Twitch window. Thank you. And just double check the YouTube window to make sure it's good. And it is good. Okay, closing that too. Now let's get started. Actually, I want to keep... yeah, we'll just get started. Okay. Okay. Lou's soul blob did the equivalent of a spasm as he heard what she was planning for him, but held in his raging emotions, his mind already working in overdrive with all the new information he'd received. Lou decided to go along with the goddess for as long as possible while figuring out his newfound gifts and abilities. The two gods, ears bleeding from Azrael's shrieks, healed themselves and grimaced, first at each other, before nodding begrudgingly to the goddess. It looks as if there is no other choice, Raijin grumbled. Azrael's crazed eyes snapped over to the thunder god, causing him to duck his head in obeisance. Oh, let it go, Azrael, Loki called out, using a sing-song voice. We agreed with you, so there is no reason to yell at us. It's out of all our hands now. As you suggested, we are throwing ourselves at the court's mercy. Azrael's eyes narrowed suspiciously as they flicked to Loki, and the two stared at one another in utter silence as they flew through the cosmos. You better not be crossing me, Loki. I already warned you what would happen if that were the case. Loki placed his hands over his brow and face in mock fear and shame. I would never do such a thing, my dear Azrael. How would you even suggest that to me? I've been above board and honest with you for thousands of years. You wound me, truly, to my core. Azrael scoffed and snorted at the god's reply, but broke her glaring stare and turned her attention back ahead of them. Lou followed her gaze and could barely make out a speck of light brighter than all the rest around it in the distance. And it was glowing brighter, getting more colorful. And as Lou watched, the speck began glowing brighter, getting more colorful, and growing much larger with each passing second. Quiet. The gates of heaven approach. There's not much time left to prepare. Both of you need to listen up and do exactly as I say if we are to have any chance of surviving this. Now, here is what you each are to say and do. Okay. Now I got this little part down here, but we're going to finish this up before we switch. Let's see. So all my chapters are 6 pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 2 more pages to write before we go to chapter 3. All right. Man, find this motivation. Azrael shouted, launched into her tirade with screaming whispers. So harsh that Lou winced as the two gods' ears began bleeding once again. He thanked the non-local powers that be once again for having him in a soul blob instead of his physical body. By the time the goddess was done relaying her commands to the 2 other gods, they arrived at the gates of heaven. Lou had been struck dumb and full of awe. Moments, over a minute earlier, when he was able to make out the crystalline structure, they were now standing, floating, in his case, in front of. I think I'm gonna stop at 100,000 today because... No, okay. Shut the fuck up, Gabe. Just write. Quit fucking giving yourself outs. Shit, I hate that. So easy to just be like, I'll just do this one. These are the days where you gotta make yourself do it because you really don't want to. This is the day you gotta do the shit because you don't want to. It's called being a fucking adult. Fuck. Sorry for cussing. I'm so... Okay. There had been a handful of times in Lou's lives where he had been truly awe-inspired. There was the first time he had visited Egypt in the early 1990s and climbed the Great Pyramid. That was a memory that he had used to judge many of the following experiences that he'd have in his future. Lou had spear hunted the Great Barrier Reef and hadn't been impressed. But when he scuba dove the Great Blue Hole in Belize, off the coast of Belize, where two continental shell plates where two active continental shelves met, he felt much as he had now, though with the pyramids. He had skydived from as high a point as humanly possible in the Brazilian, just short of the Red Bull stratosphere. atmospheric record and thought it enjoyable, but the experience had paled in comparison to leaping from a exploding cargo jet wearing a flying suit. That had been one of the few times that Lou had felt alive in his 50+ years. And even that experience and those sights, those amazing natural those amazing wonders of the world were nothing compared to the amazing, to the indescribable structures and he was looking upon. That's good. Oh, I usually do a word count thing here, so see, I'm all comma 000. That's the goal today, 100,000. Tomorrow we'll be back. Rainbow colors, though calling the calling the different reds, yellows, blues, greens, purples, blacks, and red, yellow, rainbows, black. Rainbow colors, though calling the different reds, yellows, blues, greens, purples, oranges, and so on colors, did them a disservice. The way that the think. The colors were so bright and vibrant that Lou felt they were tangible. Like he could grab the color orange and not the thing that was orange. It was like the air around him, while invisible, was a living thing that went into his lungs of its own accord, then forced itself through out his respiratory, whether he liked it or not. Then Lou realized it wasn't until that exact moment that Lou realized he was back in a physical body. His 50-year-old, his dead body. Well, seriously? Lou groaned. The voice that came out belonging to his 53-year-old self and not his 15-year-old one. He was surprised that the sound of his old voice was so unfamiliar to him. Lou hadn't at some point during the past few months, Lou had gone from thinking about himself as a 53-year-old to thinking about himself to being a 15-year-old. Look how slow it is. 125. I'm just not cruising. Okay. Let's power through. Power through. Let's get to 99 before we get some more coffee. Shut up, you old fool, Azrael hissed. Glaring at him. Lou turned and was about to snap, about to give her a snappy retort, when instead all that came out was but it died before it could even begin. What the fuck? What in the hell? Gone was the insanely curvaceous and extremely sultry seductive Latina bombshell with the spaghetti strap crop top and Daisy Dukes. In her place was a 10-foot tall female-ish bodybuilding monstrosity, replete with bat-like wings, horns, and the rest of the regalia. Said, shut up, dotard. This is my true form. Did you have a problem with it? Azrael asked, leaning down and stopping only an inch from Lou's face. Also gone was the sultry, dulcet tone of her voice and the pleasant smell of vanilla and hot cocoa. Those were replaced by the gravelly smoker's voice crossed with a chalkboard and the smell with rotten eggs and Indian food. Week-old Indian food. Lou brought his hand up and covered his nose before answering, only causing the goddess to narrow her eyes even further and project an aura of murderous intent so strong that Lou fell to his knees. Yeah, that's the word. Remember, mortal, you are in the presence of the divine. I've given you too much leeway it is time for you to... It is long past time for you to learn your lesson. Learn your lesson. She hissed, raising her clawed, her hands once beautifully manicured hands and holding her new blackened clawed talons up. We're now black and that had turned to black and clawed talons, as disgusting as the rest of her, as they slowly filled with a putrid brownish green colored light. I've learned my lesson. I promise, Lou replied, backing up slowly, raising his hands up and backing up slowly. No more teasing the giant demon goddess who brought me back to life and got it. The goddess paused for a moment, staring at Lou as if not sure whether he was mocking her or not. But the smirk that couldn't help but that appeared on his face despite she watched him. Right as she watched, caused her anger to blow up into a full-blown rage tantrum. $99,000. 99,008. Okay, let's take a break. Man, this is a tough one, you know. I am not. I'm gonna take a break. Just so you know, I'm taking a break. Twitch. Taking a break. Taking a break, just so you guys know. All right. I'm back in 5-ish minutes. Yeah, 5-ish minutes. Be back. Go to the bathroom, get some coffee. I think it's time to get a new camera. All right, 1,000 words. Let's go. 1,000 words. Let's go. 900 and something words. Let's go. Ugh. Oh, well, we're not at fucking 99,000, are we? You little bastard. The glowing ball of evil magic in her hands grew doubled in size in an instant and faster than Lou could react. His body, once again a normal geriatric pre-geriatric. Once again, that of a normal pre-geriatric. He closed his eyes and kissed himself goodbye. And waited. 1 second. Then 2 seconds. And then after 3 seconds had gone by, he opened one eye and looked around and gingerly looked around him. The two gods had somehow appeared on each side of Azrael, and both had grabbed an arm, stopping her from completing whatever attack upon Lou she had cast. Even the skin-crawling ball of magic had disappeared. Lou breathed a few sighs of relief, then noticed the gates behind them, the three deities, slowly start to open. Okay, let's think. Oh, we're almost at 100,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. He had been about to thank the two gods, but the words died in his throat, and all he could do, and it took all his remaining willpower just to raise one arm and point. The three gods, the three deities stopped their struggling as Lou pointed, each realizing at the same time that what was happening. As fast as snapping one's fingers, the three had spun around and were sitting in lotus child's pose, bowing, their bodies in full obeisance to the slowly opening and blindingly bright portal. Their heads down, when Lou saw how the three how Azrael and the two gods reacted to the gate opening, he tried to mimic them, but every single one of his bodily functions were out of his control. Except for number 1 and 2, which he still seemed to have under his power. The rest of his body, however, was frozen as still as a statue, with his right arm pointing and his mouth open like a fish. Like a gasping fish. What if I switch cameras and do this one, huh? Would anybody care? Well, if I knew how to do that, I would. Properties. Yep. What if we go boom? Yeah. It's a better camera. I think I'll have to redo my office. There we go. Next time, I'll have the other camera on the other side, and we'll use that one. For now, just deal with this 20-year-old, 15-year-old Logitech camera. Okay. Bow down, you fool. Azrael whispered from the corner of her mouth. Lou wanted to answer her. Hell, he wanted to do what she asked, but he couldn't. And not only move his body, and that meant he couldn't tell her that. She turned her head and gave him her signature glare, but even his eyeballs were out of his control. This seemed to infuriate Azrael to a level that Lou had only seen a few times in a female, and lit. Her face started to contort, and as her eyes tried to simultaneously leave her body and go inside it, right as her jaw was trying to detach itself from the rest of her head with very exaggerated side-to-side motions. She even began to shake and quiver and shake with such force that Lu thought she was going to explode. But right before he critical point, a voice full of such a deep voice full of such authority, the likes of which Lu had never felt before, stole all their attention. This time, Lu was forced to into a bow, which he gladly fell into. All right, cruising along. Almost at 99.5. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Every time I sigh and take a deep breath and do that, I'm like ready to stop. So. Okay. Okay. Think. Let me think. Okay. As the voice spoke, the blinding light began to dim enough so that Lu was staring at the ground, unable to look up, but even face down as he was, the light had been glaring. Rise. The word was a command, and which Lu followed robotically, his body moving of its own accord, like a robot under remote control. From his peripheral, he could see the gods and goddess moving in a similar fashion. Then, when all three were standing, four of them were standing in parade at military-like attention, with Lou in the middle and the three deities lined up behind him, with Azrael directly behind him and hovering over him with clear menace in her posture. The light dissipated and the voice's owner appeared. $5:37. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. All four of you stop playing grab ass. You especially, Azzy. You are the reason we're here after all. Now, a man, God, Lou reminded himself, who was the spitting image of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but with blonde hair and coal black skin, said in a jocular manner, but Lou heard the god's tone, but his eyes said otherwise. They were as hard as tungsten steel and even less yielding. He judged by the gasp from Azrael that this guy was not to be trifled with. He stared at his sponsor goddess for another second before snorting and turning and striding off, waving for them to follow him. All three deities hopped to as if they were new recruits in basic. Lou was only a few milliseconds behind them. Okay, let's see. Almost there, folks. Almost there, folks. Okay. Lou was scared from the inside out. Even his hair stood on end from the fear. But even with that going on inside of him, he couldn't help but gasp as he gave himself whiplash as he tried to take in every single sight that appeared around them. It wasn't just that he was walking through a place that they called the gates of heaven. He had passed by them, and that meant Lou was walking in through heaven. He was in heaven. The thought caused him to trip, and only the charcoal god looked back at him. Lou caught his balance and hurried to catch up, giving the rock look-alike a thumbs up as he did so, to which the god winked in return before turning back around, not having slowed the group's pace one iota. It wasn't as if Lou was seeing everything that Lou saw was new and different. In fact, most things were not where he recognized as most things he recognized familiar plants and trees, animals, and other beings like angels and cherubs, and some more alien, but none that didn't seem to belong. What he was astonished by was how everything looked and seemed. He felt like he was sensing with 100 more senses, as if his everything that he had felt before now was just a pantomime of feeling, like he had been living his 53 years of life, and none of it felt real anymore compared to the things and way he felt. Lou felt at this right now. Oh, we about there. We about there. Okay. When Lou had been living on Earth, leading scientists believed that there were possibly 30 or more senses, of which humans only had 5, maybe 6. When the first time Lou had read that, he had scoffed and called it nonsense. Now, if anything, he believed that 30 was a low estimate. All the feelings and all the normal senses he had were amplified, as if like someone turned the dial up to 1,000,000. The other senses he couldn't even explain, just feel. Then the stroll through heaven ended, and somehow they all appeared in a large domed Colosseum filled with So many different gods and goddesses. It was Lou felt like he was staring at the stars in the night sky. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's enough for today. Saturday, 2:18, an hour and 20 minutes. We did not do 2,500 words because it was a struggle to get to here, man. But this is the end of the book. Normally, I would be done with a book at 100,000 words. This is just coming out longer. It's probably going to end up being like 1,005, maybe. Probably 1,005. But yeah, let's go ahead and YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching. Questions, anything like that? And then I'm gonna get out of here. My note's like a few seconds behind, so I'll leave it here for you to ask some questions, and I'll pop up the Twitch chat. Stream manager. If you guys, I got one viewer, so if you're viewing and you wanna, hey, Bart Simpson, thanks for following. If anybody has a question, I'll leave it up for a moment. And Twitch, not Twitch, number 1, Kick, the original, the OG, the one that started it all. If you have a question, I'll answer it. No questions on the YouTube. Thank you for watching. Take care. No questions on the Twitch. Thank you for watching. Take care. No questions on the Kick. Thank you for watching. Take care. Last thing is, I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to finish this book tomorrow. 105,000 words probably. 104, 3, somewhere around there. If you want to, check out my books on Amazon.com. Gabriel Rathwig, I Am Gamer, From Chef's Craft to the Conqueror, and so on. Oh yeah, it's some meta stuff. Let's get rid of that. GLRathwig.com. Follow me on social. Instant media, all that stuff. Tomorrow, we're doing another Storyforge podcast. Usually doing it every Tuesday, but we're going to do it tomorrow. My buddy Dom is just very excited about it. Me too. It's a whole fun thing. We create a story on the fly. Like, we just have a story. We're making it up as we go. We have a couple I'm just trying to see something here. We got a couple ideas of what we're gonna do, but we don't know what we're gonna do or say, right? So we don't really know where the story's going, so we're just making it up as we go. But it's pretty fun right now. To be our 4th episodes, we're gonna do 1 every week, if not 2 sometimes, because I don't know, it's just fun, you know. But right now, Dom is voicing his main character is a aging underground prize fighter who's reborn as like a regenerating, healing 19-year-old fighter guy, and the guy I'm main charactering is like a past his prime, 30-ish, kind of gay loser physical trainer who's abused growing up, and like his powers are like magical powers only come when he like dances and sings, so it's really fucking stupid. It's very inappropriate. It's pretty fun. I don't know. But we'll be doing that tomorrow. So anyway, thank you for watching. And yeah, let's get this book done. And then as soon as I'm done with this book, it's back to the next one. No days off. No days off. Thank you so much. Deuces.